According to the rumors, we're live. Wow, look at that. That's pretty nifty, huh? I was gonna say no. That's a lie. You know what? I'm feeling confident. I'm gonna send a tweet. I'm gonna hit retweet on your tweet from my laptop. Now that we're locked in to the pre-show hype here on our first ever Locked On NFL Scouting live stream. Oh, look at all these fine folks in the chat as well. I see Nabil and Mike and Sam Teets. Was there ever any question that Sam Teets was going to show up? He says he can't really hear Joe. I think that's nonsense, I'm going to be honest. Joe's broken. Properties. I'm going to check you out.
Seems like a problem.
How about now?
Checkity check. Oh, they said I was muted. Kyle, you
no, that is false.
Okay.
I can hear you, and if I can hear you, there's no reason why they can't be able to hear you as well.
Is this a me problem?
Can't hear Joe. There we go. Okay. So Joe's there he is.
Microphone check.
I'm going to shut up. Joe's going to talk and filibuster while I go hit retweet, and I need to see confirmation from everybody in the chat that you can hear Joe Marino. Please and thank you.
Richard Perry says now good. Sam Teets has welcomed me to the live stream, which that's great. John Westling says I'm alive. Chris Janke says we can hear Joe now. I feel like there's enough confirmation here. I've confirmed this through multiple sources that I can be heard.
So we're going to take the first 5-10 minutes and just kind of hang out pre-show hype. We're going to do a show for tomorrow that you guys can sit in on, but want to just hang out for a little bit, talk about some things that you guys wanted to talk about, and then obviously we'll do a show and we'll do some takes towards the end, and we're going to do some mock drafts for some teams that don't have first-round picks, and we'll go from there. So this is supposed to be fun, good opportunity for you guys to get involved in the show. Obviously, we've been getting our feet wet with kind of a new setup, but we feel like we're getting there, and that's why we're live on a Thursday night, which, Joe, coincidentally enough, we will also be live next Thursday for our 2023 NFL Draft coverage as well.
They gave us the keys, Kyle. They said, you know what, Joe and Kyle, you do the live event for the NFL Draft for Locked On. They gave us no rules. And so we're going to do us, man.
It's like Outback Steakhouse. There's no rules, just right. You know?
Man, is that really their slogan?
No rules, just right? Please tell me you haven't. That's not the first time that you've heard that.
Do you here's the question is, what does Jordan Mailata think about Outback Steakhouse?
Ozzy Mailata?
Yeah.
His real name's Ozzy? Oh, yes. Very funny in the chat. Yeah, the Dolphins don't have a first-round pick. Never heard that before. Definitely never heard that before.
You know you got some Bills Mafia in the chat, so there's going to be some little pokes here.
Oh, you know what? That's why. So I got to take the – oh, boy, no. Inception. I have to organically tweet it and then retweet it from Locked On Dolphins, so we get this smorgasbord of Bills Mafia and –
Let me get the Locked On Bills retweet in here.
If you don't want to ask me trolling questions about who the Dolphins are picking – we would like to take whatever questions you guys have before we get started with the actual show for tomorrow. So feel free to drop them in there.
You know, I can't do two things at once, so I have to get this retweet out of the way. And then,
Okay, then I'll wait and send all my tweets until after you pull up your phone and push 3 buttons.
It's done. It's done. You done. I pushed it. I did it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Hayes in the barn, man.
I'm still waiting for
Mike Dolphins would like you to know that the Dolphins don't have a first-round pick yet.
Did you hear what Chris Greer said? Did you hear what Chris Greer said yesterday?
No, I didn't. What is it?
He said they've had a couple teams in the back end of the first round who have called them to see if they would be interested in moving up if certain players weren't there for those teams currently scheduled to pick at the back end of the first round. He said we're going to keep all our options open.
So, I mean, you're going to have to give up, future picks. But
it'd probably be a future one. I'd give up if Bijan Robinson falls. To the 20s? I'd give up a future one for Bijan. Chris Greer never would, and I don't care. But I would.
You feel like that's the position group that you and Chris Greer have had the most disagreements on?
Discourse?
No, disagreements.
Yeah,
you
well,
guys just haven't
discourse.
seemed
It's
to
the same thing. Yeah.
No, I like to say disagreement. It's more negative. I like that better.
Yes, I would probably say so. Ooh, Sam Teets with a good question. Can I click things and put them up? I don't know that I can.
Oh, you've called us the People's Podcast. I like that.
Well, yeah, because today's show is in the people's hands.
Oh, okay.
It's up to them. Sam Teets wants to know who linebacker 1 and tight end 1 are. Those feel like controversial positions. And, of course, we're going to do a formal show, but, we're just hanging out right now.
I got Jack Campbell and Darnell Washington for me.
Same.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know we were the same on that.
Yes. Which is ironic because you're looking at these players through a Bills lens, and I'm looking at these players through a Dolphins lens specifically. So it's not like we obviously did our summer work building up and our fall work and our early winter work through a 32 team scope, but now we're kind of looking at these players through a much more very specific scheme lens. I just think Campbell, from an IQ, athleticism, production, and versatility standpoint, is in a class of his own as linebackers this year.
I have the least amount of questions about him. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And I think there's some thoughts out there that he can't cover. And while he's not crazy rangy, he's perfectly sufficient, I think.
I've scouted eight of the projected day 1 and day 2 linebackers, and he's the most consistently productive linebacker other than Dion Henley, who used to be a safety against the pass.
See, Jared's in here, and he's going to Charlotte. New 49er here, Jared.
Congratulations, Jared.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. I'm excited for you, man.
He's 15 minutes from my house. We got to go play some Topgolf together. But
don't. I'm a 90-minute flight away, man.
Well, anytime, man, anytime. But that's a fun take. That Brian Branch is a top 5 prospect in the draft. I don't know if I can get there. I love him.
I think you can make a case that Brian Branch has top 5 tape in this class. But I think from a positional value perspective and the fact that he didn't test great, he's more of a... Brian Branch is a top 5 instinctual player in this class. Is that
okay,
fair?
I like that.
That's probably the meeting in the middle. I had seen one from a Steven that I wanted to shout out. Why do teams have Kincaid ahead of Washington?
Receiving profile.
He feels like the guy who could be the 1,000-yard receiver tight end. Mm-hmm. Right? The high volume guy, and that probably moves the needle quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he might have a better receiving profile coming out of college than Mark Andrews, too. I honestly. Yeah, at least how he was used, I think it's more translatable.
If you told me that there was a tight end in this class that caught 80 balls for 1,200 yards, I would guess it would be Dalton Kincaid. And that's why teams are going to want to buy into the receiving upside there.
Yeah, and I think for you and I with Darnell Washington being tight end 1, it's really the complete skill set that he offers, especially in line as a blocker and being able to beat zone coverage and being a mismatch in the middle of the field. He wins in a way that I think we both find very attractive based on the way that we're viewing our own respective teams that we're doing this scouting for.
Can you hear my daughter going wild in the background?
Oh yeah, I can. I don't know if
that's why we're waiting to do the show, because she's getting a late start. But Joe, I smashed retweet on my own stuff. So
oh wow, so here comes
joke's on you.
Fins
here
Up
comes
Nation.
Dolphins Mafia. Yeah.
No. What do you identify your fan base as? What are you guys? Dolphins? Dolphins?
Probably either Dolphins or Fins Nation.
Okay. Because Fins Up is cool, but doesn't.
Yeah, you can't identify that as a group of people.
But I mean, I wish you guys would lean more into the pod thing, because I think that's awesome.
That's why I do Power to the Pod.
I know it's an amazing name. It inspired me to change from Twitter Tuesday to herd mentality. I'm like, I can't be this lame,
Just the mailbag guy.
Right. Here it is. Is that a Javon Holland mug there? Look at that.
It is. And the fun thing about the Javon Holland mug is it's double-sided. So depending on...
I see that.
Yeah.
Is Javon Holland my favorite player on the Dolphins? I think so.
Jalen Waddle.
Oh, we forgot about Jalen Waddle.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
It was my birthday last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise there's a reason to say that besides just telling everybody it's my birthday. My mother-in-law stopped by today with my birthday present, and I got a Dolphin sweatshirt, but we also got a Jalen Waddle onesie because we were expecting our son. Joe, you already know this. You don't have to act surprised, but we were expecting our first son in September, and it's our second child. We have the 2.5-year-old demon daughter who just got out of the bathtub. Everybody heard. Meh. So, but I just got a Jalen Waddle onesie, and I thought that was appropriate with Jalen Waddle being your favorite Miami Dolphin.
Okay, I like that. But it also inspired a thought in me that I'm going to write down that I'll deal with later. We know your favorite Bills players. John Westling wants to know. I gave love to Jalen Waddle and
Deion Dawkins. Deion Dawkins.
Why'd you pick him?
Because I was right and you were wrong. Yeah.
But that's not a reason to like him. That can't be the reason. You were higher on Trey White. You were higher on Deion Dawkins.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up how we get each other's.
Rousseau,
the other
higher on him.
The other players
Basham.
that we're higher on for each other's teams. It was Tremaine Edmonds.
Which would make sense. You were high on him, and he's good. He doesn't play for the team anymore, so now you
right. So I have to find a new one.
Poyer and Hyde feel like safe choices.
No,
you don't like them?
So. No, they make too many plays.
Well, what do you think Holland and Waddle do? Jalen Waddle's one of the few people I've seen take Josh Allen on that angle and get the tackle on that
on the QB spy on 3rd and 15.
I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way, and he got him down.
Just rocked and rolled the safeties, a one-on-one open field tackle situation.
Right.
I was like, yes.
Looked better than Kyle Van Noy that one time. You know what I mean?
You know what? I do love Kyle Van Noy, but he ran his mouth after Miami dumped him after 1 year, and then in Week 18 in 2021, Tua absolutely shook him out of his jock during the game, and I was like, man, open field tackling for Kyle, it's tough. No, Matt Milano is not my favorite. Matt Milano plays with too close to the end of the echo of the whistle for me as a fan of a rival team to have him as my favorite Bill.
I've never heard anybody say that about Matt Milano. I really haven't.
Well, it's consistently against the Dolphins. Oh, Reed Ferguson. Reed Ferguson, duh.
Oh, obviously. All right. Kyle, you can see Kyle has a whole lot less love for the Bills than,
That's correct.
than I do for the Dolphins.
Well, that'll happen when you lose 7 in a row, you don't.
Hey.
Well, you won one last year. Won one last year.
Honestly, the game that the Dolphins beat the Bills last year was the game that they shouldn't have. The other two would have been much more reasonable for them to win the game.
Correct. Ooh, I like that take.
No,
Milano is to the Dolphins what Wilkins is to the Bills.
Bob, get out of here with that.
He's a Bills fan, too. He could say that.
Right. I know, but you can't do that. We can't swoop down there. I like Christian Wilkins.
Sean wants to know who both of your favorite players are on the Pats. It's Ramondre Stevenson, right?
No. My favorite, okay, first of all, my all-time favorite Patriot is Danny Etling.
Why?
Because the fact that he exists and didn't they draft him?
I think they did draft him in the 7th round.
The fact that was the thing that happened. My favorite current Patriot? Oh, Christian Barmore. I like Christian Barmore.
The only acceptable answer is Ramondre Stevenson. He is a beast.
Yeah, but you were like higher on him than me, and so I can't lean into that.
Look, just put your ego aside.
Who's your favorite Jet? You got to pick a favorite. Jermaine Johnson.
Current Jet or all-time Jet?
No, current. You're gonna say Sauce, and you should.
No, It feels good to have Sauce as CB1 out of that class, especially because my integrity was attacked when I did that. Corey Davis still on the team?
Yeah, still
I've
there.
always had a big soft spot for Corey Davis.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't justify it, but
All right, so are we ready to do this? We ready to?
I am cautiously going to say yes.
All right.
Fully aware that I might have to mute for an extended period of time in which you're going to have to filibuster.
Seems like that'd be a real challenge. There's a good question. Are you a ranch or blue cheese guy? You're really a neither guy. Are you?
I would do blue cheese before ranch, though.
I've seen you eat a lot of chicken wing. Kyle's a dry rub chicken wing guy. And you don't really dip those in things, do you?
Oh, you can if you want to. Old Bay dry rub wings are my favorite wings. I know that's kind of a weird. That's a weird.
I don't think I've had
that. And people are gonna hate me for that. But Old Bay dry rub chicken wings are my favorite flavor of wings.
Let people like things. You know, my favorite are the ones from the Green Turtle in Delaware.
And just don't get the hot. Just don't get the
hot as can be.
Amazing story. So Joe came up to Delaware with his wife, and we went out, and we went to this restaurant called the Green Turtle, and it's like a chain up here, right? And Joe was like, "Hey, have you ever got the hot wings here? Like, how hot are the hot wings?" And I thought I'd got the hot wings, so I said, "Yeah, they're not bad."
I'll take 18 of them.
Yeah, so Joe said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do a bunch of hot," and these were the hottest hot wings. They were on what's the chili scale?
I don't remember it. It was
remember the like the heat chili index scale. What's that called? With like how spicy the peppers are.
There's no chance I could pull that right now. I know what you're talking about.
Hold on, we haven't started the show yet. So, Tyler Bass extended 4 years, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's according to Zachary Brooker in $21 million.
I knew he was going to be a $5 million a year kicker. They really did it.
Careful, man. Then you get to Jason Sanders. Next thing you know, he's going to be playing too much ping pong and miss all his 50-yard field goals.
Wait, is this really true? I don't see this from
according
anybody.
to Zachary Brooker in the chat, Tyler Bass, 4-year extension, $21 million. Hi, Noah. It's good to see you.
Goodness gracious. The Bills are... I promise you there's no team out there that cares about... There it is. There it is. It's really a real thing.
It's the Scoville scale, by the way. The Scoville scale is... Sam Teets, after our... who said it first? I just realized everybody was saying it in the chat. Sam said it first, but he spelled it wrong. Per Peter Schrager. Tyler. I didn't realize Kyle Brandt was such like a diehard Bills guy.
You didn't?
Well, I mean, in the past year I did, but I had known Kyle Brandt a lot longer than the past year.
Yeah, I think he's leaned into it, right? Like, it's worked for him, so you lean into it, right? Like, he's become endeared by Bills fans. He's got Josh Allen on his show every week. He's been to, like, Buffalo and done video stuff in the community. He's leaning into it.
Yeah. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah, I am.
So I don't think you're going to be able to see this, are you? I'm going to click a button right now.
I only see me and you on the screen. That is it.
We have a transition slide. Like the logo pops in, and then it comes back out. Yeah.
Oh, so there it is.
You just saw it. Yep.
On the YouTube.
So,
you did that?
Yes, I have that.
Wow, Kyle.
So we have the intro.
Right, hey, are you recording this?
Yeah, we're. So I guess we'll just download the YouTube thing and run here on as the show, right?
Yeah. People, wait. So I don't. We're doing a cold open here.
Yeah, we'll just flip the switch. So everybody's going to enjoy the show. We're going to sit in. We're going to do a podcast, and you guys are going to be part of the podcast, and we're going to treat it just like we would as we normally would. We have HelloFresh. We're shouting out HelloFresh.
Oh yeah.
You don't even have the. Oh.
No, I do. I just forgot about that piece of it. So
one step closer to the soundboard, bub. That's right. You just wait.
People don't. This is pretty much what happens whenever we're about to record a podcast. So
yeah, you get the true pregame or the true pre-show experience.
Right. Here we go.
I'd actually be interested, Noah, to find out who is the number one cap and dollars commitment to special teams players.
Oh, it's the Bills. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. They're Saron Neal, Tyler Medikevich. They're paying their long snapper, their punter, and their kicker market deals. Dude, there's no chance it's not the Bills.
Noah, I would wear the Dolphins draft cap, but it stinks, so I'm not going to, unfortunately. They haven't had a good draft cap in 3 years.
Oh, you've been saying Noah. That's my guy, Noah, my legitimate friend, Noah Aderman.
Aderman, yeah. You have the chat open, too.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't.
Are you ready?
At it. Yeah, I'm ready. I got it all ready to go.
Okay. So you start whenever you want. We'll trim it. Yeah, I'm sipping water too. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you got 3-2 click, right? The full experience.
No, there's no 3-2 click here. You just go whenever you want.
All right, here we go.
Let's make it as awkward as possible.
All right. The latest NFL draft buzz, a mock draft for all the teams that don't have a first-round pick, and live engagement from the YouTube channel is all coming your way today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, thank you for being here. Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/NFL60 and use code NFL60 for 60% off plus free shipping.
Joseph, happy National Everyone Had Their Blue Check Marks Day taken away on Twitter.
Gone.
Day to you.
Gone.
Can anybody else in the chat verify that Jake is the only one who's not seeing video? So we are live right now, and Jake's
have it on.
What's a guy have to do? What's a guy have to do to get video? And I'm like, oh man, I hope it's just a you problem. So leave and come back and see if that helps. But yeah, Joe, happy National. Everyone lost their Twitter blue check marks and lost their minds about it, and everybody tweeted about it all day yesterday. Day to you.
I made it a point to not say a word about it.
You know, I have gone out of my way to mute the words blue, check mark, Twitter blue, anything and everything. It's not real life, right? It's Twitter.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, I promise.
Yeah. Be all right. We're going to move on.
The sun will still rise in the east and set in the west without your blue check mark, which I lost mine too. I'm bummed, but I didn't feel the need to tweet about it.
So NFL draft buzz, there's something that has been on my mind, and it's the idea that Tyree Wilson could go ahead of Will Anderson. There's a lot of momentum for that to happen.
Okay.
So I've recently watched them both. And
like back to back?
Yes.
That's always important when you're going to do an exercise like this, is to watch them back to back.
I watched them back, and I really, really, really like both players. Really do. But I'll tell you this. I don't think it's that crazy of a thing to happen. I like them both. But here's the deal. I don't think either one is a true sack artist. I think it's about the skill sets that they offer. And, for Will, I think he was able to take advantage of a lot of scheme and twists and stunts and opportunities for him to finish, but I don't know that he has a very complete repertoire of moves. And Tyree Wilson has just crazy physical gifts, and when he's able to attack, he is unbelievable. Like, he is just ragdolling people out of the way, and he's got crazy finishing bursts, and he's a crazy good athlete.
So you said neither one of these two players is a sack artist currently.
Right.
My question for you is, who do you foresee having the higher ceiling on passing downs? Or is that to go so far as to say that is very system dependent on what they're going to be asked to do?
I think it's system dependent. But I think that Tyree Wilson has more in his bag to just completely win one-on-one battles.
So how do you how do you quantify the season Will Anderson had in 2021 and that level of dominance in the SEC? I'm genuinely asking.
It means a lot to me. That backfield production that he's had over the last 2 seasons is unbelievable. And he's higher than Tyree Wilson on my board. Very closely graded. I think that's where I got surprised, is that I thought there would be more of a gap between this Will Anderson, Jalen Carter tier down to the next players. But I kind of think that Tyree Wilson's right in that conversation for me, at least.
Yeah, and I don't think it's crazy to think that Tyree Wilson, because Tyree Wilson, fair or not, right or not, he's a prototype build, right? Will Anderson's kind of not. He's a little bit leaner than you probably ideally like him to be, and if you're going to add mass, then you kind of have the projection of what that does to his athletic profile. That's not to say that Will Anderson's not going to be a very, very successful NFL player, but he reminds me of Clowney, but not 270 pounds, Jadeveon Clowney, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a developmental curve, and if Tyree, because he is a little bit more prototypical, at least has a higher floor earlier on.
I guess here's a hot take for us. I think Tyree Wilson is a better prospect than Trayvon Walker.
Okay, that's a take. I don't know that I disagree with it, but it's a take. I think Miles Murphy's a better prospect than Trayvon Walker, too.
Ooh. Now that's spicier than what I just said.
Is it, though? Is it?
No.
His athletic profile is like exactly like Trayvon Walker's, but he was more productive in college, and he's more fluid.
When both, I'll say this about Miles Murphy and Trayvon Walker. When they turn it on, dude,
yeah,
they're tough to deal with, man. It's just about the consistent application of those gifts to be consistently dominant. And I think that's true for both players.
So that's, I guess, my hot take that I would throw out there. And we like Trayvon Walker. I think Trayvon Walker is going to be a consistently good pro. I don't know how high his ceiling is as a pass rusher. But if you like guys that are going to dominate the line of scrimmage and can get you 6 to 8 sacks a year pretty consistently, that's going to be him.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony liked that. Tony Tibbetts. He said yikes in the chat.
That's okay.
Yeah,
if you listen to this podcast to agree with everything that we say, that's really boring for everybody.
Right. So, and we can do it respectfully, right?
Of course.
Like we don't need to be Brady Quinn and Ryan Clark yelling at each other saying, "I'm not your guy,
gosh.
buddy. I'm not your buddy
Silly.
guy." And I love both dudes too. So it was just kind of weird to sit here and like watch the salvo of tweets go back and forth yesterday, being Thursday. We're recording on Thursday night, but it's a Friday show. So
the other thing that's really on my mind in terms of some of the buzzy stuff is the idea that the Houston Texans could just sit there at 2 and not draft the quarterback.
You seem to think they have a pretty good chance of drafting Tyree Wilson at number 2.
Well, isn't that who Lance Zierlein had them picking? That holds a lot of weight to me.
Yeah.
And I think about that left defensive end role in D'Amico Ryan's defense, how important it is, and how perfect Tyree Wilson would be for it. I also think Will Anderson would be too if you used him as a true Leo. And that's kind of what Alabama did, especially in 2021.
Yeah, I like that. If Will's there for Seattle, you have to feel like that coaching staff with like Pete and all the players that they had and the Bruce Irvins of the world, like they know how to get the best out of Will, right?
Oh, no question. And here's the entire wild card for me in the top 10 is Jalen Carter. Because Jalen Carter, if you didn't have all the questions, I don't know that he's not a better prospect than Will Anderson. He's really good. But what team is going to invest there? And it's not just like the talent's obvious. But when you're picking that high, you're probably not that good of a football team, and you need foundational pieces of your roster. And you're picking that high, there's expectations. Now, I heard on the Locked On NFL mock draft special, which is phenomenal content.
It's the bee's knees,
dude,
if we're being honest.
I literally could not stop listening to it today. It cost me a lot of work time, honestly. I'm 2 episodes in.
You don't have anything else to do, let's be honest.
You're probably not that wrong about it. But I'm prepping, watching film, getting my podcast stuff together. But Matt has Jalen Carter number 1 on his board. He said, It's Randy Moss. It's Warren Sapp. Just get him on your team. It'll be fine. That's what he said. And I was like, okay. I mean, if that guy reaches his ceiling, he's going to be a real problem in the league for a long time.
If he finds intrinsic motivation to be the best version of himself year in and year out, day in and day out, he's the most naturally gifted player in the class, I think. Bijan?
Defensive player.
Yes, most naturally gifted defensive player. I saw somebody say that Bijan was a third-round prospect this week.
Dude, you know what running back is really good? I hope you agree with this.
Oh, this will be fun.
Zach Charbonnet. Dude, I watched his vision. He might have some of the best vision I've ever seen.
Tajay Spears has the best vision in the class.
Charbonnet's close, man. I love both of those players. That'd be one heck of a tandem if that was like your backfield.
Yeah,
Charbonnet and Tajay Spears.
I think what got me with Charbonnet was the vision, the smoothness of his cuts for a big back, the contact balance. Those were all the areas for me that really, really popped. And just like, he's not afraid to run you over either, right? So he'll challenge you physically. He's silky smooth as a big guy. He's contorted his way out of a bunch of tackles. His feel of like closing defenders around him and bracing for contact to gain extra yardage is really, really good. And look, that Chip Kelly offense, like, their run scheme's really, really good. And I think it's prepped him for a very high degree to be effective as an NFL runner. He's been great the last 2 years for them.
Dude, I was just having a time. I started with the Oregon tape. And I remember Brent.
That was a hell of a game. That was a hell of a game, man.
I'm like, what are these cuts? What is this vision? It's unbelievable. Went to Utah, Arizona. I mean, he was awesome.
How about the one in the Oregon game where he tucked up through off the left tackle and he had I think it was the safety that came down on him, and he spun through and around it and lifted his leg up over another guy as he's coming out of the spin. I was just like, oh my goodness. Just unreal.
Do you have a non-first round guy that you just love? Because I mean, that might be with me and Zach Charbonnet. Keanu Benton's another one of those guys. I just love him.
You're gonna make me pull up the Dolphins big board, huh?
I wish that I wish that name just was there for you when I said that you would just have it. Yeah,
there it is. There it is. Can I say Laporta?
Of course you can.
Probably Laporta.
Sam Laporta, Iowa, tight end.
Iowa tight end Sam Laporta is probably on that list. Sidney Brown.
It's a good call. I like him too.
I don't think there's any chance he goes in the first round, but I think he's Antoine Winfield Jr. all over again.
Sidney Brown?
Yeah. He's probably a better athlete. Bub is telling us, challenging us to be. There's no way we're done in 30 minutes.
Well,
I think we started about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, was that our objective? Is he telling me to tell everyone about Built.com because something exciting is coming?
Huge is coming
over there
tomorrow on Saturday,
April 22nd. Just in case you don't know what day people are listening to this, but April 22nd. We don't have all the details yet, but the excitement is real. Kyle, this. You know what's real is look at this. This is 3.
Nom, 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 nom. I'm going to do this every time we do Built Bar reads now. Nom, 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 nom. Joe ran train on the Built Bars today.
Can't stop, won't stop. If you guys know how Built works, they have the most incredible protein bars in the world. And they do these amazing flavor drops with unreal flavors and limited quantities. And so make sure you check your calendars, mark your calendars, and head to Built.com on Saturday, April 22nd to be one of the first to discover what the hype is all about. I can't wait to see what the new flavor is. And head on over to Built.com. Use our promo code LOCKEDON15. You'll get 15% off your next order. The best tasting protein bars on the planet.
I think it is important for me to distinguish here. My computer's here. My camera's here. So I'm looking at you on the YouTube channel. Because you can find us on YouTube, of course, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. But if you're on the YouTube and we're on the live stream, we got a bunch of people in with us right now. It's great to see all you guys. Joe, I have another name. And he might be a day 3 guy. I don't know if you've watched Moro Ojomo.
Texas defensive tackle?
Yes.
Tell me things.
Really good gap control kind of player. About 290 pounds. Good length. Good power in his hands. Like his patience to lock out on blocks. He is very fluid and athletic for an interior guy. Flash some really nice rush counters. He's just kind of lean. He's kind of built like a 4-eye, where if you put him in at 3 or further in, you're probably asking for trouble where he's going to get pushed around by double teams and stuff. But if you put him inside shade and you want to run bare fronts and put him as a down lineman, especially if you're going to run a penetration style front, I think he can really be a solid player for you. I wish I had a good comp for him, but I don't. But Ojomo's he's a good player.
Future Cowboy, Moro Ojomo.
Wouldn't
that
be
type of scheme. Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
Are we ready to do a little mock draft action here?
Yeah,
for
so
non-first round teams.
Yeah,
they
so I
need love too.
We have 5, right? I guess we'll do the Rams first.
Are they the first?
They have 36. They have first.
Ooh, it's kind of like a first round pick.
So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have it off the screen. We'll talk about players that are available on the board. We'll do it. We'll reset the browser. We'll go to the next team. That way, instead of putting a bunch of teams in and then you have to pick for the team you already picked for twice before you get to the 49ers who pick all the way at 99 or whatever it is. It's just a little bit easier that way. Question from Steven. In the meantime, while I get the Rams loaded up, Joe. Keanu Benton's best position on the defensive front in the NFL is what?
I like him probably not as a true one. I think everything else out is where I like him.
But he could play. He could play on the nose, though.
He could. I wish he played with more consistent leverage to do that. But I like him pretty interchangeably. But as a 3, I think you can play him in the A gaps, but not necessarily as like a true nose. I think he can play all the way out to 4-eye. I'm a big fan.
So we're doing the Rams, and I'm going to do the last 5 picks. Okay, just let everybody know who just went. Eagles at 30 took Brian Branch. Chiefs at 31 took Brian Brzee. The Steelers at 32 took Felix Uzoma. The Texans at 33 took Mozzie Smith. The Cardinals at 34 took Trenton Simpson. And the Colts at 35 took Will McDonald. The Rams are on the clock.
I feel like with the Rams, right?
What
with
position do you
limited
want to know?
Resources. I want to know who the best player is at a premium position because every single thing's on the table.
Emmanuel Forbes, Julius Brents at corner. Also DJ Turner, who I think might be better than both. Keon White at defensive end. Hendon Hooker at quarterback. DeJuan Jones, top offensive tackle available. Any of these move the needle for you?
Is there any other edge rushers like Will McDonald?
So you have Will McDonald was in the last 5 picks that we just touched on. So Keon White's off the board. I'll go ahead.
Draft attendee Keon White, that is, Kyle.
BJ Ojolari is here.
Maybe.
Keon White, Derek Hall, Isaiah Foskey. Tuli Tuipulotu. A little underrated in this class.
Ojolari or Keon White would make some sense to me.
Could you have picked 2 more polar opposite players that play the same relative position as pass rushers?
I couldn't, but I think Keon White can play more of a 5-tech and reduce him inside, and then you could use BJ Ojolari how you kind of use Leonard Floyd.
Nabil, no, it would not be easier if we shared our screen because Joe can't see when I share my screen. He sees our camera all the time.
Yeah.
So for your viewing quality, we're going to talk through it. So Keon White.
Okay.
So we'll do Keon White for the Rams as our first pick. Great. And then we're going to reset. And we're going to do, I think the Dolphins are next.
51?
51, yes. So 2-round mock. Loading up. The Dolphins at 51. We are not allowed to pick Keon White. We are not allowed to pick any players that went in the first round of our mock draft. Is that the deal?
That's the deal.
Okay. So the Dolphins are on the clock. The last 5 picks, Keely Ringo to the Patriots, Brenton Strange to the Commanders at 47. Seems like a player who's getting a lot of buzz right now. And here's the back-to-back heartbreaker, Steve Avila to the Lions at 48, Matthew Bergeron to the Steelers at 49, and then Tyreek Stevenson at 50 to the Bucks. So the
Avila
Dolphins
and Bergeron
back-to-back kind of stinks. DeJuan Jones is on the board. That's tempting. So the best players available in this iteration of a mock include Mozzie Smith at 51, which I'm pumped about. Keanu Benton, John Michael Schmitz, Jack Campbell, who we can't pick because we took him in the first round.
Didn't Mozzie went in our first round too?
Mozzie did go in our first round, yeah, so I'll shut up. DeJuan Jones, Sam Laporta. Those are probably the names that I would invoke here.
I mean, you got to take it's a Dolphins pick,
yeah,
but I would lean
I'd be
Jones.
Interested. DeJuan?
Yeah, I'm personally most concerned about the offensive line. And I feel like DeJuan Jones is exactly the type of player that can really widen lanes and quick set and make it difficult to get that quick pressure on Tua. So I'd roll with that.
I would be inclined to agree with you. If DeJuan Jones is there, I think that's a pick the Dolphins should probably make. I know that their expectation, air quotes here, expectation is that Austin Jackson is going to be the starting right tackle, but that's the expectation because they don't have anybody else on the roster right now. So if DeJuan Jones falls, dial it in. Darnell Washington was not on the board, Matty. Not on the board.
That would have been an easy choice, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'd have sprinted that one in real quick. So the Broncos are next. They pick at 67.
All right. Denver Broncos. What are we thinking here?
Jeez.
Some help on that D line. They just paid Zach Allen. Should they have?
They gave him $15 million per too. It's not even like they paid him a little bit.
They need Zach Allen and Randy Gregory to be good.
Well, if they need a pass rusher, Foskey's on the board.
They kind of need a 5-tech. I mean, right now they're starting Jonathan Harrison opposite of Zach Allen.
How about
in their 3 down fronts?
How about Byron Young or Zach Harrison as a 5-tech?
I feel like Byron Young. I wouldn't like Byron Young as a 5. Zach Harrison I can get behind, but I think the best prospect is the player that you said first, Foskey.
Foskey?
He would make sense to me. I think their offensive line's pretty set. I mean,
we've heard these wide receivers. I know, as Sean in the chat, are they trading Jerry Jeudy? They've had rumors about trading these wide receivers on and off for forever. Tal wants to know if any linebacker is available. Let me see here.
Right, they're rolling with Alex Singleton and Josie Jewell as their middle backers.
To'o is the best off-ball linebacker available. And oh my goodness, I have never been floored in a bad way with somebody's 2022 tape the way that I was with To'o with my expectations before the year. I did not think he had a strong season.
I don't mind Foskey for them.
Well, for the sake of not doing a 50-minute show, which we were challenged on doing, let's do Foskey.
Okay.
And we will do our 4th single team day 2 mock.
Cleveland Browns?
And this is the Cleveland Browns now at 74 because they traded back from 40 whatever with the Jets with the Elijah Moore trade.
Yep. I'm thinking about D-line for them too.
Who's the dream interior defensive lineman who's available?
Benton, but he's not going to be there. He should not be there.
I would agree with you. So we are going to start the draft.
Like we're rolling with Jordan Elliott right now as our 3-tech with Tristan Hill behind him. We can't do that.
Zach Pickens is the top available interior defensive lineman, according to these rankings. which I would disagree with. But
Okay, who else is there at interior defensive line?
Sakai Aika.
Nope.
They already did the Danny Shelton thing, right? Jaquelin Roy. Oh,
Nah,
this is
dude.
this is a terrible board for them. Keandre Coburn. Colby Wooden.
Nope. No, we got to move off this. We can't force one of these picks. That's bad.
Is
there an edge rusher?
Be pretty pissed at us, and I wouldn't blame him. Harrison, Tuipulotu, Isaiah McGuire, Yaya Diaby, Dylan Horton, top available defensive ends.
Man. I feel like they really need help there. Like this D line just is where it's obvious to me. And linebacker, you said Henry To'oTo'o is the highest one.
Well, hold on. We just did a new one. How about Dorian Williams or DeMarvion Overshown?
I like Overshown more than Williams.
Still feels like a reach, though, at 74, though, doesn't it? You want best players
I
available?
don't know, maybe. Sure.
Luke Musgrave, Riley Moss, Sidney Brown, Blake Freeland, Tucker Kraft, Tyler Steen.
Too bad they don't need a tight end, huh?
Right. Quan Martin, A.T. Perry, Luke Whippler, Antonio Johnson. Yeah, this is a nightmare.
This is not good. We might want to just give him like an upside player like Harrison or something.
How about we just take the best player available and draft Sidney Brown and just be done with it?
Where are we playing him?
Safety.
I mean, next to Juan Thornhill. Grant Delpit's not been consistent enough for us to like be married there.
There's a three safety.
Yeah, let's Sidney Brown. Let's give him something exciting.
Just pure best player available.
Yeah, we won't force him.
And we didn't love it, guys, but we also didn't love what the board gave us here.
I love Elijah Moore. That was a great pick, and hopefully
Absolutely.
Deshaun winds up being really good. That'll be a good pick for you too.
All right, so the 49ers, who picked 99th. This is our last sim.
What did they pick? 99, 100, and 101? Did they have like three in a row right there?
They do. They got a big run on compensatory threes.
We got to find a right tackle, don't we? We can't be rolling out there with Colton McKivitz.
I don't know, man. I keep thinking they're going to hit the wall with these offensive linemen, and they
figure it out.
They keep being sufficient players. Like I never would have guessed Spencer Buford was what he was for them. Start the draft. Okay. Michael Wilson, Tre'Vius Hodges-Tomlinson, Luke Schoonmaker, Tavius Robinson, Jordan Battle, Corey Trice.
Who are the offensive tackles?
You want to know the tackles?
Yes.
Nick Saldiveri.
Okay.
Carter Warren.
I like Carter Warren.
I don't. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's a bad take.
I just don't think he can move.
Ooh.
He labored a little bit in some of the games that I watched this year.
I'm fine with Saldiveri.
Saldiveri's the pick.
Yeah.
I would agree. That's your best case scenario with the
We just
need
more here. More here in tackle, man.
Need more competition. And Old Dominion, he's like a super athlete. I think that's a great spot for them to go. So that's the pick. Those are the mocks.
All right. So coming up here next is going to be your questions, your takes. Send them in here if you're live on YouTube. We'll be right back.
I got to use the transition screen. I was really happy about it.
Oh, was it? I was wondering what you're going to do there because that is kind of awkward. You know? Yeah, like here's a quick break. We're going to go get a cup of coffee and a ham sandwich. No, we just
actually we're going to go right in. So this is now up to the chat, right? This is up to you guys. I know you guys have been dumping takes. If we did not acknowledge them earlier, now's the time. You've got about 10 minutes? We can call it 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Chris wants to know, who is this year's Tariq Woolen? Not limited to corner, but an athletic, freaky player who is high odds to be overlooked by NFL GMs due to X reason.
Overlooked, huh? I got to pull up the board here, or else I'm not going to be able to answer that.
I am fighting some allergy demons over here tonight.
Out there in old Delaware. Why do I have this urgency to go to the corners?
Because they asked who the next
Right.
Tariq Woolen is.
Man, I wish then something was popping here for me.
How about Nick Saldiveri?
Maybe. Who's that tight end they have? Kuntz? Old Dominion's got a couple guys.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki light. Penn State and everything.
Penn State and everything, huh?
He transferred from Penn State, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Zach Kuntz, yeah. He got recruited there. He's like an older kid, too. They recruited him there, and then they changed the offensive system. He was going to be like the next Mike, and then they changed the offensive system to this run-heavy system, and it's like, well, time to go.
Wish something was popping for me right now.
Well, let's move on then. I think Chris stumped us. Jordan wants to know if Steen could be a left guard instead of a tackle. I don't think Anthony Steen is a tackle at the next level. I think he gets ate up by lack of length way too often. I don't know if you agree with that take or if you've seen enough Steen. Tyler Steen. I mean, he doesn't even Tyler Steen, not Anthony Steen.
32 and 3/4 inch arms. It's not long enough.
Tony, Riley Moss is a top 10 corner in the class.
I can't get there. And part of that's because I really like this class of corners.
Right.
And
I will say he had a better year this year than the buzz that he had coming into the year. I think he actually justified it with his play this year.
If you're going to play zone, I mean, I think he's a mid-round pick. That's intriguing, but this corner class is so deep. I mean, guys like Cam Smith and, there's like 5 perceived first-rounders, Forbes. You've got DJ Turner, Clark Phillips, right. Darius Rush, Julius Brents. I mean, I can't get there with the top 10.
Chris wants to know who this year's Cole Strange is.
Keon White.
No, because we're expecting that.
Are we only expecting that because he's been invited to the draft and he's going?
Well, Cole Strange wasn't.
So who's the random first round pick that really nobody saw coming? Will McDonald doesn't qualify because I think people expect that.
Is it Jack Campbell?
I don't know. I've been wanting Jack Campbell to be the Bills pick at 27 for a month now. So
I understand that, but you're not most people.
That would surprise people. You know what would surprise me is Emmanuel Forbes. I keep seeing him in mock drafts going, and he's 166 pounds.
Yeah.
He's 20 pounds away from still being small.
I don't think that qualifies for the sake of the question, though, because he's getting put in the first round of mock drafts.
Right.
How about DJ Turner? Turner can play, man.
I liked him. I liked him a ton.
I don't know Cody Mock not getting more buzz.
Is it Cody Mock? That would surprise me if he went in the first round. Maybe that's why he's a fine answer. Matthew Bergeron. How is Matthew Bergeron not in this conversation? He's got first round tape, right?
Some people think he's a guard.
Why?
How about Steve Avila?
I've seen him mocked in the first round, but
frequently?
Not frequently. I think we got into some names here that make sense for the answer here.
Zachary wants to know what our thoughts are on Bijan apparently only meeting with the Eagles and the Bucks.
Dude, there's been a lot of this. Kalijah Kancey didn't meet with a single team. Josh Downs didn't meet with a single team. And then Bijan met with the Eagles and Bucks. Like, I don't know if there's just less visits happening, if Zoom, a lot more Zoom, and like you're seeing these people, you have exposures throughout the course of the process, and our Zoom meetings kind of taking the place of this.
Let's see. Matt, shocked to see Zay Flowers fall out of your mock.
Me too. I tried to get him going about 12 times, I think.
He did. He'd have been the perfect player to go where Nolan Smith ended up going with Baltimore.
Yeah, but that was like too...
I think we put Nolan Smith too low in that mock.
There's no question. He's so good.
Did you see Honest NFL, who has some ties to Philly, just put out a big thing with him and how he fits the Philly system?
He does. He absolutely does. 10. What they got out of Reddick, he's a better version of
10.
Reddick, man.
10. Pick 10.
Would not surprise me.
Pick 10.
I won't bad an eye. He's a top 10 player on my board.
Sam Teets, Joey Porter's closer to being a second-round pick than a top 15 pick.
I agree with that. Well, honestly, right? We have not had a lot of love out there from people that we've spoken to that are well connected in the league about Joey Porter.
Yeah, I think the name kind of gets you to a certain level of expectation, and he's got all the potential in the world. But I do think he's a scheme-specific starter. Philip wants to know what update I have on the mouse in the garage.
Ooh, yeah. What can you tell us?
I haven't seen him. I have not seen him. I removed all the food, all the temptation.
You think he moved out and didn't tell you?
I've seen no dung, no scat.
Is that guy behind you there on the couch? Did he potentially have anything to do with it, or
this guy over here?
I mean, two of them.
Fun fact: I was gonna say, oh, you can see too. The people at home can't see too. Let me.
Okay.
There you go.
A couple of felines back there. They're not the same cat, but they look similar.
They're not. They didn't have anything to do with it because they don't have their front claws.
I feel like those cats are always in your office. Are they not free to move about the rest of the house?
They are, but at nighttime because they like to bang on doors and stuff.
Yeah, but we record during the day, and they're always in there too.
They like hanging out with their dad. I don't know what to tell you.
Big cat guy, Kyle Crabbs.
Ryan. Sorry, Ryan, I missed yours. Would you rather have Ringo in the second or Corey Trice in the fourth? I'd rather have Corey Trice.
Have we gotten to the point with Keely Ringo where maybe he's underrated?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
No.
There's not some flashes there that are appealing enough for you to think like,
no.
I'll go with Keely Ringo.
Chris wants to know who in draft media you guys pay the most attention to this time of year. Us, of course. Do we still count? We still draft media?
I value Dane Brugler. I value Lance Erline.
DJ.
Yeah, of course, Daniel Jeremiah.
Jordan Reed.
Reed.
TDN, fellow TDN alumni, Jordan Reed.
Yeah.
Maddie,
those are all good people.
Maddie Light wants to know why everyone is so low on Mekhi Blackman, the corner from USC, which is a great question because I watched his tape.
Him,
yeah. I pounded the table for that dude when I watched this tape. I think he's just small. He's a slight frame. He's probably nickel specific. But then we just watched, what's his name from LSU go in the top 100
Cordell Flott. Don't forget
Flott, all 171 pounds of Cordell Flott went in the top 100 last year. So who the heck knows? But I think Blackman's a really, really good player.
There's a dog in here. I had no idea there was a dog in here. I'm like
show
looking
us,
down.
show
Like,
us,
what is?
Show us.
Come on, Bruno. Come on, buddy. Here, bud. Bruno's making a pod. Hey, bud.
Wow, that's your newest addition too.
Yeah, side of the road pup right here, a legitimate one. Here he is.
Is he gonna say anything? Imagine a live draft dude's experience without a live dog at this point.
Right, it's pretty much, and we can provide the dogs, with our own. This is Bruno here. He's got his new banana collar. There he is. Pretty good guy here.
Oh, man, the chat just dumped, so I just missed a bunch of stuff. Will wants you to know he's an everyday watcher on Locked On Bills.
Thank you, Will. We appreciate you, brother.
He went to high school with Justin Fields and played Little League with Miles Murphy, but what is your outlook on Justin Fields next year?
I'm excited. Year-over-year continuity is going to be big. Obviously, the talent around him is better. The defense stinks out loud, so hopefully Matt Eberflus and the new linebackers can help, but I'm worried about a lot there on that defense. But I'm excited to see what Justin Fields can do this year. I think there's just a whole lot more going for him in that situation. No question about it being his team, and it's that third season, which is always really important for kind of that defining year of what a guy's going to be. So I'm really optimistic for him.
Nabil, Tommy Adebore will be a player who is in limbo his first 2 seasons since the team that drafted him will be messing with his weight and position as he finds his way. It's a take.
Dude, I am living this right now with AJ Epinesa and Boogie Basham. Weight fluctuation has been huge, and
but Tommy's 280 and a 99th percentile athlete.
So why wouldn't you just keep him there?
Right, just play him at 280 and live in the world where he's a base end in early downs and he's a interior pass rusher on third down.
You're seeing more fronts that engage, are willing to do that. So do it.
You have to hope that's the plan, right? And if it's not, then I would agree with Nabil. But that's there's a pathway for that to be avoided. I just don't know that pathway is guaranteed. Cansey is DT4 at best. And Neil said Kalijah Cansey will turn out more like Ed Oliver than Aaron Donald.
Okay. First of all, Kalijah Cansey is a not-for-me prospect. Somebody else can figure out if sub-31-inch arms and 280 pounds is going to work, especially for where he's been mocked to go. Okay,
would you have drafted Milton Williams?
On day 2.
So would you draft Kalijah Cansey on day 2?
I'd probably think about him in the 3rd round.
Which is where Milton Williams went.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
So I think that when I say him, I mean Kalijah Cansey and Ed Oliver, I think are both undersized 3 techniques, but I think they have very different skill sets. I think where Ed Oliver has an advantage on Cansey is I think he's more stout and more strong. He has more functional strength. But I think Cansey is more explosive, and I think Cansey has a lot more rush moves. But Ed Oliver has more length. Somehow Ed Oliver has more length than another defensive tackle. And so I feel like their strengths are very, very different. And so I think where Cansey is going to be a bit more of a liability as a run defender, I think he's a much better pass rusher. I think Ed's been a better run defender and maybe a little bit underwhelming as a pass rusher based on the hype, right? I think if you take out the lens of him being a top 10 pick, you could appreciate him being a reasonably good starting 3 technique. But because he went 9 overall,
right?
He's not been that guy. And I think if somebody takes Cansey that high, it's just going to be really hard
to live up to that.
Yeah, especially because inevitably people are going to bring up Aaron Donald. They just are.
And they should.
Correct.
We're going to do 2 more.
Okay.
The first one's from Weekly Huddle, and it's a take. Clark Phillips is closer to a UDFA than a top 10 corner in the class.
Whoa. Really? How do you get there? What am I missing with Clark Phillips?
I knew that would get you going.
Wait, do you are you in on that or something?
No, I'm not. No.
I mean, I know he's small.
It's just size is the concern, right? But
dude,
Asante Samuel Jr. wasn't big either, right?
Jair Alexander isn't big. And I'm not saying he's in that category, but there's a path for him for sure. See how small these receivers are coming out this year?
Right. Tank Dell.
They're all tiny. Zay Flowers, Josh Downs is tiny. Jordan Addison's tiny. These are all small guys.
And that brings us to our last one. Speaking of wide receivers, Rashee Rice, over under pick 70.5.
Over, put a lot of money on it.
So when you say over, you mean later than 70?
Later than 70.5. Yeah, lots of money.
There you go. Lock it in, huh? You didn't even think twice about it.
No. Did you?
No, he's had a tough go. His whole pre-draft process has been tough.
Bad. Right.
Look, we hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. For those of you who tuned in, shout out to the everydayers who are here, your teams every day here on the Locked On Network. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He's Joe Marino. You can find us, Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, on YouTube, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Did a live stream tonight, got everybody involved. It was really fun. It was nice to chat with you all in the build-up to the 2023 NFL Draft. But that's going to do it for us here. Deuces. Make it a great rest of your day. Make it a great weekend. We will be back on Monday with more content coming your way. So hit subscribe and follow along.